at Quality Pipe, which is on Huron River Drive. Since police arrived here on scene, there haven't been any shots or anyone's heard any shots that were fired. Right now, we don't even know if there is a person who's actually inside the business or if there are other employees inside that business. We do know that the chief is expected to come over and talk to us here shortly, let us know a little bit more about this situation. However, fire crews out here and police who are out here right now are saying, you know, for anyone who's in this area, just to stay indoors and to avoid this area if possible as well. Of course, when we do get more information, we will bring that to you both on air and online at WXYZ.com. For now, reporting live here in Huron Township, I'm Alan Campbell, 7 Action News.
All right, Alan, thank you. We'll check back with you soon. And also breaking right now, Michigan State Police are asking for your help to find a missing 8-year-old girl.
Jana Marie Lewis is believed to be with her biological father, Michael Lewis.
She was last seen in the 2500 block of 4th Street in Trenton. Police tell us Jana's dad never returned her to her mother following a court order.
Now, she uses a wheelchair and needs medication. If you have seen her or have any information on her whereabouts, you're asked to call state police.
Well, the big story tonight, families torn apart, the immigration crisis reaching a boiling point.
President Trump under pressure, reversing course to put an end to the separation of children from their parents. The
move coming amid new revelations that the Trump administration had set up at least 3 tender age shelters in South Texas and had been planning to open a 4th near Houston.
Babies and toddlers being held there had been forcibly separated from their parents who were crossing the border into the U.S. illegally.
President Trump, after outrage from many, even within his own party, signed an executive order to keep families together. However, the president says his zero-tolerance prosecution policy will continue.
About keeping families together, while at the same time being sure that we have a very powerful, very strong border.
More than 2,300 children have been separated so far. Dozens have been sent to an agency in Grand Rapids.
Our big story coverage begins with 7 investigator Jim Kurtzner at the agency's location in Madison Heights. And Jim, what are we learning about what happens now to those children?
Glenda, this agency is placing these kids in foster homes. This is Bethany Christian Services, based in Grand Rapids, but they have this agency office here that also does adoptions. Just as I'm coming on the air, I'm being told that they have not placed any of these kids throughout Metro Detroit, but the numbers they have placed throughout Michigan are staggering and even sad with young infant children.
Foster parents are loving, caring people, but it takes time to prove to a child that this is a safe place to be, because often parents didn't even have an opportunity to tell a child that.
This crisis is real as facilities along the Mexican border have become overcrowded with these kids, separated from their parents. The feds are looking everywhere for placements, including here in Michigan, a state that borders Canada.
Foster parents often get 24 hours notice, sometimes even less.
The kids are flown here, paid for by the feds, often in the middle of the night. According to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, 81 kids have been brought to Michigan and to Bethany Christian Services, the only Michigan agency to have a contract with the feds. 81 kids have been placed here so far, and they are as young as 3 months old. Some are placed by Bethany in individual homes, some in group settings.
Little kids, 10 years old, as if though that's old enough to be able to handle that kind of group situation.
The kids go from the trauma of coming into the U.S. to being separated from their parents to seeing some of them being arrested and locked up.
We had one child who describes his dad being handcuffed in front of him and put in a police car, and he just kept repeating that story and just asking, where's my dad? What happened to my dad?
And I'm being told by Bethany that number 81 is so high they have had to place some of these kids in foster homes outside of the state of Michigan. We have continuing coverage on this crisis. More now with Simon Shaquette, who's talking with Hispanic community leaders. Simon.
Jim, this story took a major turn as we were out conducting interviews, and now it seems America's image at home and abroad is playing a major role in policy. It was a day of making phone calls and time spent on the streets of Southwest Detroit. Coming here for me meant getting the real reaction from a largely Hispanic community to images of undocumented children found at the border and kept in cages, their cries for parents ripped away from them. Among those outraged, Jane Garcia of LaSed, Latin Americans for Social and Economic Development. How does it impact this community here to see those children separated like that?
Oh, it's very hurtful. I mean, we had a lot of emotional people coming in. The churches are calling, what can we do? They're going to have rallies.
We want to keep families together. It's very important.
This morning, as so many were speaking out against the controversial practice, like the rest of us, Jane learned the president had a change of heart.
I think there was a lot of pressure. I don't think he expected that much of negative pressure against him.
I was very shocked that he did that. I was thinking that he was going to continue to use that, but I think there's been a lot of backlash from the conservative community.
In areas like Mexican Town, there are many who still fear being rounded up by immigration if they're not citizens or don't have proper status. Overwhelming criticism of the policy that forced kids to be removed from parents is now giving way to concern for the kids already displaced.
We're going to have a strategy session where we're inviting people from the community or anybody that's interested in figuring out how we can keep families together.
Coming up at 5:30, a Michigan Civil Rights Agency breaks down what's happening to those kids already removed and what this latest executive order means now. Reporting live, Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.
Simon, thank you for the live report. A campaign to help reunite immigrant families separated at the border is setting records. As of right now, it's already raised more than $12 million in just 5 days. Facebook says that's the largest single fundraiser ever. It was created over the weekend with a goal to raise $1,500 for the Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services, or RACES for short. At one point, it was raising $4,000 a minute. Head to WXYZ.com for continued coverage of our big story, including a closer look at President Trump's executive order.